So Amanda is a strategic advisor. She's an author. She's a podcast coach. She helps successful business owners get clear on their goals and provide actionable strategies to achieve them. She's guiding clients to scale and reach their next level of success. Hey, how are you doing, Amanda?
Hi, good. How is everyone doing today?
Oh,
It's
they're
been an exciting
rocking.
morning so far.
Oh, girl, it's been on fire in here. How about you guys put scale of 1 to 10? How great the day's been in the chat. I'd love to see it. So I want to ask you a few questions because
Yeah.
this is a very important conversation. Alignment is one of the big things that everybody in this room is really working on so that they can actually be enjoying this opportunity to build a business and build a new life. So when you say just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? This is a pretty bold statement for a room of very driven, successful entrepreneurs. So what do you
Yep.
mean exactly by that?
So I'll just start out by sharing a little bit of my own experience, and maybe you can relate to this. I'm a mom. Maybe many of you are parents in here as well. I'm a single parent, actually, and I also have a business. And those two things overlap a lot. And not necessarily the duties within those, but the mindset around doing things in those. So if my kids, right, they are fully capable of doing their own laundry. I'll just use that as an example. I, however, am also capable of doing the laundry. And rather than waiting for them to do it or thinking they're not going to do it right, I'll just do it, right? I'll just do that. And then so let's talk about that in business. Talk about building an automation, right? You have a plan, you want to send out something, you want to send an email blast, whatever it is. I know how to do that. I'll just do it. And then you get stuck into being the one that always now does that within the business or within your household, right? It coincides both. And so as women especially, we get caught in that trap a lot. We can do so many things, but it doesn't mean that we should be doing all of them because what happens is we get stuck in the muck of doing all the things instead of doing the things that we are really here to be doing, sharing our full gifts, right? Most of us are not meant to be behind the scenes, writing emails, scheduling social media posts, creating slide presentations, whatever it is, fill in the blank for your business. I guarantee you there's at least three things that you are spending a lot of your time on that you do not need to be doing. And you may notice those because you are out of alignment, you procrastinate. You may dread it a little bit. You don't want to go back into the office because you know that you're going to have to finally do the thing that you said you were going to do. It's not in alignment with who you are and what you're meant to be doing. So, can you guys relate to that? We can do all the things, but it doesn't mean that's what we should be doing. And so that's what it means. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It doesn't mean that the tasks are below you, right? We're not talking about, you're this elevated superstar that is beyond writing emails, but your gifts need to have the space to breathe and to get out of the way. And if you're the one stuck in doing all of the things, you're not living your purpose and you're not doing the things that you're meant to be doing. So, does that make sense to everybody? I could
Who
go
here,
on, and I have tons of examples, but I don't want to. I only have 30 minutes.
well, who here feels like you're in that spot right now is the question that I want to ask. So if you feel like you're in that spot right now, can you just put me in the chat? You feel like you are this person that Amanda is describing. Look at that. See that?
The reason that I know this is because I am her too. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's easy to just go, oh, I'll just do it. Right. I have a team right now, and I am fully capable of going to look at email stats, how many sends, how many opens, how many clicks, all the things. And I also like to move really fast. So sometimes for me, it's
Yeah.
hard to be patient enough to let someone else catch up to the
Yeah.
task at hand. But if I go in and keep doing those things, it's just going to become the expectation.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's a lot of internal work on settling back and allowing others to do the things that they're really good at too. And sometimes that's the challenge in it.
I think that's like always the challenge because usually when you start to build a business too, right? At the very beginning, you're learning how to do everything. At least
Yeah.
for me, I learned how to build my own funnels. I even learned ads. I ran ads at the very beginning, then I stopped
Yes.
for many years. And it becomes hard to let go because you like it to be done a very specific, certain way. And how many
Yeah.
of you guys have ever hired somebody and then been disappointed? I'd
Oh
love
my gosh.
yeah, we're getting into that conversation where you're like, hey, like I'm gonna hire an expert, then I'm gonna try this thing out, right? And then you get disappointed, but then you go right back into your self-sabotage in the story, right? Of, well, I
Yes.
guess nobody can do it as good as me, so I guess I'm just gonna be the one who has to keep doing it, and then I guess this is just what it is. And we get to be right about that story. So how do
Yeah.
you help people move through that, right? Because
Yeah.
that is where a lot of people get stuck.
So instead of just saying, all right, just stop doing all the things, because we know that's not going to happen. Especially some of the things I'm seeing over in the chat are the words control and trust. Okay. So we can't just cut that off. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to start trusting everyone. But what I like to do first is look at some more data. Okay. I like to dig into who you are as a person or who I am as a person. But when I'm working with clients, I look at you as a full person, maybe using some non-traditional tools. Like I love to look at people in the eyes of human design. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, if you're into it. If you are, go ahead and put a one in the chat for me. So if you know what human design really is, or if you've ever even looked into it. So I look at human design. I look at if you've taken a disc profile or a StrengthsFinders or anything like that to really look at your personality, your design, what you are really meant to be doing. Like I said, we can do all the things, but are we feeling this dread while we're doing it? Are we lighting up every time that we, sit down to do some work or consult someone? I'll give an example. There's a lot of people come to me, and this was really a little bit a few years ago when course creation was really, really popular. I'm not saying it's not popular now, but it used to be like the thing to do. So people would want to come to me to create a course. Because that's what they've seen everyone else doing. That was the thing being advertised to grow a business, to make a bunch of money without working all the time, whatever, hook they had for that. Once I started talking to clients about what it really takes to build that course and then to deliver that course over and over again, most of them bowed back. Thank goodness, because it wasn't for them. And luckily, they recognize it in themselves as we got deeper into it. But I work with a lot of people that think, oh, I'll just do a group coaching program. I see a lot of people doing that. I've been in them. I think I can do that. It'll be fun. But then if we look at their human design, they are definitely not meant to be doing group programs at all. They are meant to be more intimate, one-on-one type people. They are more introverted, possibly. They aren't meant to be in that kind of container. And so when we're designing your life and the business that is meant to be within that life, right? I start with the life around and the business is in it, not the other way around. I don't like to put your life in the business that you built. And I think, Katie, you're very similar philosophy to that. So we look at where you're going to be the most energized, the most lit up, the way that your gifts are going to come through and help others in the best possible way. And that may not be through an online course. That may not be through a group coaching program. Just it may not be a low ticket offer. Like you see all these things all the time online, if you're online often like I am, and you get really distracted and down these rabbit holes. But we've got to look at the data and see who you really are, past life experiences. Like you used to do this, you kind of liked it, but you quit. I love to look into you as a person and then really figure out what the best next steps are. So, again, you're not just going to stop doing all the things at once, but we are going to take some steps to really figure out which things you should be keeping on your plate and which things you should start possibly delegating out.
So how do you help people to start to understand what those things are? Do you have like a tool or a system or a process that people go through to get more clear on the I don't need to do this list and someone else gets to do this list?
Yeah, so that is also a hard thing because a lot of times we don't tend to take inventory of how we're spending our time. And so that's where it becomes really difficult to bring people in to help you because you're like, oh, I don't know. I just sit down and I start doing stuff. Like you don't know what it all, and all of a sudden it's 7 p.m. and you need to make dinner. Like you sat in here forever and you did all these things. But so we need to really start to look at almost like a time audit. What are you doing with your time? How are you spending your days? How would you love to be spending your days? Right. So sometimes maybe you do love writing your own content. So keep parts of the things you're doing, but I want to do an audit and compare it to cross-reference it with kind of the profiles that we establish up front to see which ones are really in alignment with you as a person. Again, just because you can do something, it doesn't mean that you're the one that should be doing it. So, but yeah, like a simple time audit is just, it's not complex. It does take a little bit of, mindful effort to write down, okay, right now it's this time and I'm doing these things. And just do that for a few days and you'll see like, gosh, I spend a lot of time doing stuff that I don't like doing. So that's
Mhm.
one way that we start.
Yeah, there was another speaker, Casey. She also recommended that everybody here does a time audit. Guys, even if you don't think you need to do a time audit, just do a time audit. And I'm sure we can chat GPT or AI 1 and 2 seconds if you want an actual template. But it's really every single time you're feeling bottlenecked or you're feeling overloaded or overwhelmed means it's time to actually do something like this because there's obviously an adjustment that gets to be made. And it just might be a blind spot of you feeling like you're doing all the things that you quote unquote have to do, but maybe
Yeah,
not even understanding like, oh my gosh, well, if I have, like, you don't, until you see it, right? And also understanding how much time you're spending on like one specific area of your business, you might be totally shocked. It could have been a total blind spot, like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that I'm actually spending 5 of my 8 hours a day on admin tasks.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because
And
you're not
when your
putting it
real gift
together.
is just sharing with people and working with the person, not just doing, yeah, all this back end stuff. However, I'm going to say this. It takes all kinds of people to make this world go round, and not everyone is designed and wants to be in the front. So if you are the person that wants to be the admin behind the scenes, holding up the team, holding things together, keeping people on track, that is awesome too, because we need all of it to make all of these things work. So I'm not saying everyone needs to step up and create a program and be the face of something because that is not that is not true for everyone. So that it's important to have to know yourself enough to know where you fit into this world, right?
Yeah, like where do you actually thrive and what are your actual skill sets and what do you
Yeah.
really enjoy to do? Because I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs that once they really get into it and they do the kind of work that we do, they get really clear, right? They're like, you know what? Actually, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea. I like the facts of like being able to make my own schedule, and I like that I have the potential to make as much money. They like that, but they don't like what it might require for them if they want to be a coach, for instance, which if you're a coach, you're going to do things like what I'm doing right now, which is you're
Yeah.
speaking on stages, you're super front and forward, your personal brand is attached a lot. So you're putting yourself out there a lot. That takes a lot of intimacy and vulnerability. And
Absolutely.
like it's also a personality type thing. And I love that you mentioned human design, a manifesting generator, by the way. I
I'm a
like it.
straight L generator, so I'm the
Okay.
battery behind it all. So I can do either the front part or the back
For the
part.
back end.
And that's why this topic is so important to me and why I love speaking about it because I am her. I am the one that tries to do everything myself. And it has been a challenge to step out of the being the doer, especially now in a different season of life. I'm not sure, the demographics of our audience here, but I just turned 52 last week. My oldest son, just graduated college. My younger son is 19. My life as a mom looks totally different now, and I now have a lot more free time, we'll say. And so, what do I tend to do with my free time? Oh, I'm just going to start filling it up with things that I can do. And so, maybe you guys do that too. Now, I don't have to get up and take kids to hockey practice or go to any events. So, I'll be in my office till 8 p.m. at night just because I can. And
Mhm.
that doesn't mean, though, that I should be. So, That's a big reason that I love to talk about this.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall into that because it becomes just part of like how you operate. I found myself falling in that too because I have so that's why it's so important to have a personal life.
Yes.
That's why it's so important to have
Yes.
friends and other things that sometimes we might think of them as, oh man, this is so distracting. I just need to focus on building my business. And of course you do. And this is the prioritization of like, you're also building a business to be able to live an exceptional life, which usually involves other human beings as well, maybe some animals, I don't know. But
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
in an experience where you're not, even if you could do it all day long, that comes right back to the whole point of this conversation, should you? So is there anything else that you want to share with the women here about specifically like any strategies that you have or frameworks or just really good questions that they could ask themselves so they can start to understand? Because I think everyone gets this very logically. Of course, we all know that we shouldn't be doing everything. And nobody, I don't think does anybody here want to do every single thing? Anybody here want?
Want.
Like
Yeah.
want?
That's
Not
important.
feel like you need to. There's a difference, okay? Feeling like you need to versus you want to is not the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So because we I think we all get it and we hear this all the time. But how can you leave them with like a legitimate action that they
I
could
have a
take?
couple. I have a
Okay,
couple.
cool.
And they involve the gifts that I have for everyone
Oh,
here.
perfect. That
So,
goes into
number
that.
one, I created a quiz, and that's my free gift for all everyone in this summit the next few days. And it's basically helping you go through it. It doesn't take that long, but it helps you identify your blind spots, right?
Okay.
So we all have these things that maybe delay us from taking action or keep us stuck at a level or whatever it is. And I just call them blind spots. And
Hmm.
usually you've heard the term like you can't see the forest through the trees, or you're too close to, you're inside the jar and you can't read the label, or all those little cliche things. That's
Hmm.
what this quiz is supposed to help you do, is see the view from outside of kind of what's holding you back. That's number one. Once you can identify that, you can maybe start investigating where you may be out of alignment
Yeah.
with what you're doing. The other gift that I have is I created a custom GPT to help you have the conversations with chat, with AI about you. And it guides you through if you've never if you've never, downloaded your human design, or you've never really taken that disc profile, or you don't do, any of these other tests, it'll guide you through getting those done. You can feed those results to the AI, and you can start talking to it about you, how you are designed, how you are showing up in relationship to your disc profile, to whatever profile it is. Um, if you have, and I do this too. I love it because I can say, you know what, I've been really thinking about doing this low ticket thing because I'm seeing everybody doing this low ticket offer and running all these ads, and they seem like they're doing so well. I run it through AI that knows me so well because I trained it to, and it'll say, oh, no, 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 you do not do that. And so it helps me stay focused and stop getting distracted on things that would be completely out of alignment with who I am and what I'm here to do. And so that's what the tool does. It helps you create. I actually built it with my mom in mind, okay? Because she's pretty tech savvy, but she doesn't talk to AI like maybe we all do if we're in the business world or online. I wanted to build a tool that anyone could come in and use and build and create for themselves. And so that tool takes you through it step by step, and then you can start having real conversations with it to help you kind of gauge your alignment score, I guess you could call it. There's no score, but you can, ask it questions and it'll answer based on your unique profile. So
We're good.
it's been really helpful for me, and it's been really helpful for a lot of the people that I work with. And it's fun. So that's what I love to help people do.
So good, guys. So we put the link in the chat for the quiz that she was talking about, the blind spot assessment. So
Yeah.
that's a free gift and reminder that we are going to email all this stuff over to you in a nice, pretty website so that it's easy to find. I know things are getting buried, but we're going to repost that. And then we also have her VIP gift, which guys, again, reminder, your VIP gifts, because we're not publicly posting them because you chose to make that investment to get access to them. We're going to email them to you later, and you're going to have more of this stuff coming for day 2 tomorrow. So she has the AI guide, okay, which is a resource for you to integrate into. Does it integrate into any AI? Is it just Chat
It's
GPT?
Chat GPT.
It's
This
Chat
one is built on Chat GPT. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is built into chat, and then you can be able to use this to really understand what's in alignment or not and help you make those decisions. So that's a really great tool to take advantage of if anyone's been struggling with that right now.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to share with the women that are in the room?
One thing I'm just going to add this after watching that video, and one of the blind spots that I help people identify, and I am also guilty of, is isolation. And it's really easy to become isolated in this online business world. And that's why groups like Katie's are so vital because you do start to surround yourself with other like-minded people, even if they're not in creating the same type of business as you are. It's very helpful to get out of that isolation because what I have found is that isolation will then start triggering all the other blind spots. So it compounds. So then you become an overthinker, then you become distracted, then you become overwhelmed. All of those are blind spots, and they all typically stem from isolation. So I think it's really important. You guys are all here, maybe for that reason, to just start connecting with other like-minded individuals, joining groups like Katie's, joining groups like mine, or others that are here on this summit over the next couple of days. We all have these resources and these tribes to help one another, and it's all about living your best life and not alone, not doing it alone. So
Definitely not doing it alone. So let's give Amanda some snaps.
thank you guys
Give
so
her, show her
much.
some love.